Venus is the planet of assessing the value of things outside of us, but it's also assessing what value that we have within us. And in this process, we're trading for things outside of us with what we already have. So Venus is ruling this exchange process that we make every day. And so Venus is also the force of making decisions about what path to take in life, in general, the larger decisions, but also daily decisions that we're making about cost and benefits. What is something going to cost? Because nothing in life is free. Everything costs money, time, or energy, or dedicating ourselves to something long term. And what are we receiving in return for what we're paying? And so Venus is usually mentioned as the planet of love and relationships. And we're going to discuss why Venus is the planet of love and relationships. But first, we're going to get to the core force that Venus is performing on a day-to-day basis, this core assessment process that we do of what is valuable in our life. And also, as we go through this video, we're going to see that Venus and Mercury are working hand in hand together as two forces. And that's because they're both working and navigating this external world. And then what is our position in relation to the external things in life? We use Mercury to manage our life, to make things run smoothly, to make sure that things are compartmentalized in the required places. And we also use our Mercury to communicate with the world and to exchange information. And Mercury is also trying things out, experimenting with the options at play. But when we're experimenting and we're seeing possibilities, we then come to a juncture. We then come to a fork in the road when we say, okay, I need to make a decision about what to do, what path to take. And what are the costs and benefits of those paths? That's the Venus force in us working. We're using Mercury to do this kind of playful experimentation, but we can't be experimenting our whole life. We have to make decisions about what things to do. That's our Venus force at play. Someone with a good Venus is going to be decisive about what they choose. They're going to have clear understandings of why and what they're doing, and what the details and the costs of those paths that they're taking entail. Someone with a harmed Venus is going to be indecisive or go back on previous decisions, not want to make decisions, or making decisions that aren't in accordance with their true value. So as we go through this video, we're going to see this kind of mutual, or not mutual, but this interplay between Mercury and Venus and how they work hand in hand with external reality. That's the key. It's an external analysis that these two planets are doing. So Venus, the core of making sound decisions, the core of being able to make realistic assessments, is having a healthy sense of self-worth. What do I have in the world that the world needs and that I can therefore exchange for to get what I need? And what we need on a basic level is food and water. But we also need a deeper sense of fulfillment. We need purpose. We have a whole list of needs, or desires, we could say, of what we want from the world. So Venus is ruling what we desire to receive from the world and what we have in order to get those things. Someone with a good Venus is somebody who has a realistic, practical, and balanced understanding of who they are, what they have, and what they could exchange what they have for things that they want or desire or need in their life. Someone with a harmed Venus in their chart is someone who's going to have an inflated or exaggerated value about themselves, which is basically arrogance and pridefulness, and thinking that they're worth more than other people, in the sense that they're more valuable just because of who they are, and that everyone needs this person, and then that also means a looking down of and disrespecting or not appreciating the value of even the members of society who don't have as much prominent or important positions. Someone with an inflated sense of value and a harmed Venus is going to bring this arrogance into their personality, or have this kind of looking down on other people, not being able to see the value of even the people who don't have power in society. Another kind of harmed Venus is someone with a very low sense of self-worth, who puts themselves into positions where they're receiving less than what they're truly worth, or settling for things that aren't going to be fully beneficial to them, or paying more than what they receive, getting taken advantage of by other people, and just not having a healthy exchange because of a lack of understanding of what they bring to the table. And these people can put themselves in very destructive situations because they'll allow things into their life that don't give them further value, or don't benefit them or bring them deeper fulfillment. They're giving more, or their worth is being drained out of them. Their vital force gets drained because they don't know how to say no to things that are not beneficial to them, and it's settling for things that can be harmful just from a lack of kind of a self-respect and self-worth. And we all know people who have put themselves into positions where they can be harmful, and that's because their Venus on a deeper interior level isn't strong and seeing that they don't need to be putting more in than they receive. Having that equal exchange, that ability to create win-win situations, is the sign of a strong Venus in a chart. And so, what is the greatest exchange? What's the biggest exchange that we do in life? This exchange is a relationship exchange. What we do to exchange ourselves for other people on a deep emotional level. And for this reason, Venus is indicative of our love relationships, but also business relationships. Mercury is a planet of friends. It's an exchange between people that is on a communication level, but there's a limit to a friendship. You can enjoy doing activities that are fun and playful, but when you take a relationship from a mercurial relationship to a Venusian relationship, you're taking to the next step the investment and the exchange you're making with the other person. And as I said, it could be a business partnership, because business partnerships involve a trading of values, or a trading of value, a trading of goods, a trade of money, things that have wider ranging ramifications for the well-being of our life. And Venus is also this our significant other, and how we're trading our personhood and spending our time, energy, money, and our self for what another person can offer us. And a healthy relationship between two people who are romantically involved, it's all about having a mutual win-win, beneficial. I'm giving this, I'm receiving this. This person's giving this, and they're receiving this. So that can sound very calculative, but we're doing this on an internal level, and it's not so cold. It's just a practical way of understanding. If I'm in a relationship, I realize that I'm going to have to spend this amount of time, this amount of energy, in order to benefit this person, and in order so that this person can benefit me. We have to make this analysis. If we're not using our Venus in a healthy way in terms with relationships, we're going to wind up putting ourselves in places where we're giving more than we have, we're receiving far less than we need, and we can get taken advantage of because of a lack of assessment of what this powerful exchange is. And it's a physical exchange. We're bonding our auric field with the other person when a relationship becomes physical and sexual. So Venus is ruling both long-term and short-term relationships. And a short-term relationship would be, oh, I see someone who is physically attractive. Is it worth it to go and talk to them? Or say you're talking, is it worth it to have a sexual relationship? What are the risks and what are the benefits of this short-term encounter? Do I see this person as someone I can be middle to long-term? We're making these assessments using our Venus, but when we decide to take a relationship to the next step, whether it's going to be, more than just I took this person out to dinner, and I see if I like this person, I see if we're compatible. When we start taking a relationship to more serious levels, what we're doing is then we're devoting ourselves and we're choosing a path. We're choosing whether to invest ourselves in this path, in this person. And what we're doing is we're taking Venus from kind of a temporary daily level of what I desire, what I need to have in my life. We're turning that desire into devotion, into saying, yes, I'm going to devote and bond myself with this other person. And devotion is about merging ourselves with whatever we're devoted to. And we're going to talk more about what the Venus does to spiritualize us at the end of this video. But it's all about this part of merging ourselves with the path that we're choosing to go on, whether that's another person, an activity, or devoting ourselves to God and to the creation itself, to everything, devoting ourselves to live in harmony with the rest of creation. So Venus is a water planet, rules over water, and like the moon is also a water planet, but the moon is the interior sense of self-nourishment. Because what does water do? It gives rejuvenation, it gives nourishment, it gives a calming, it's soothing, and it allows for the body to be rebuilt. We're 70% water, we need water. But the difference between the moon and Venus is that the moon is our ability to nourish ourselves from our own interior, individual way of feeling good and being able to nourish ourselves on an individual basis, where our individual sense of taking care of ourselves is. Venus is nourishing in the way that we take things from the world to nourish us. Again, it's this relationship with external reality. So what Venus does is it's assessing what is valuable and what can I receive from the world that's going to give me nourishment, that's going to give me, make me feel rejuvenated. And that's a really key word for Venus, is rejuvenation. And that's what water does on a very simple level. And this rejuvenation process is a smooth process. And Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces. So exalted being the best position for Venus is in Pisces. Pisces is a water sign. And Venus does well there because Pisces is the energy of relaxing and making assessments of what cycle we are completing before we begin a new cycle. And in that assessment process, we're able to see what of value we've taken from the previous cycle of living, whatever cycle we're on, and to be able to rest and relax before we begin a new cycle. That's exactly what Venus loves to do. Being able to take in things from the world, to relax, to see that, to be soothed, and to enjoy the pleasures that life has to offer. Life isn't meant to be work, grinding, solving problems, and dealing with and having to sacrifice. We have Venus because life is also about enjoying life. A good Venus will know how to enjoy the good things in life in ways that are healthy and balanced and support our self-fulfillment, but also support our body's ability to rejuvenate in healthy and balanced ways, because we don't want to take we'll talk about in a moment, but how we can take this to the next destructive level when we become addicted to pleasures or addicted to relaxation. But again, it's a water sign, and so Venus is ruling over places of relaxation, resorts, hotels, pools, saunas, spas. We go to these places to relax and rejuvenate our bodies. Also, the activity of swimming. Swimming is an excellent activity to build the muscles, because there's the resistance we get during the process of swimming is easier on the muscles. It's easier on the body. There's less force and tension during the activity of swimming. We can allow the water we flow with the water. We allow the water to carry the weight of our body. So not only is swimming very healthy as an exercise, but it's also a very soothing activity that doesn't put stress on our body. And Venus, interestingly, is the planet of vehicles. And it's interesting just from when you first learn, why would Venus be the planet of vehicles? Because with vehicles, when you get in a car or a truck or a motorcycle, you're taking the weight off your body, and it's easier to get around in a vehicle. So it's a pleasurable activity because we don't have to haul whatever we have in the car. We don't have to walk and use our energy. The vehicle is taking us somewhere, and we are able to be at ease during the process of moving from place to place. So Venus rules these kind of these conveniences that make our lives gentler and easier. And that's a really key part of what Venus is doing. It's this gentle interaction we're having with things outside of us. This external world has things that we can take in that do make our lives easier and more pleasurable and gentler all around. And so one other quick thing about Venus as a water rejuvenator is that it's an important planet for an athlete or someone with someone who's athletic or engages in athletic practice, because an athlete will need a good Mars, a competitive spirit, the ability to be disciplined and to train the body. These are Martian activities to be able to advance little by little through practicing whatever sport or practicing whatever activity to improve at it. But Venus is also key for athletes because Venus is ruling our vitality and our physical strength. So someone with a good Venus, their body is able to rejuvenate itself faster. Someone with a weak Venus, their body will get beaten and bruised, and it's going to take longer for that body to recuperate. A good Venus is not only has a strong a virility, or the word viril is the life force inside of a person, and a stronger and more robust virility in a person gives them more strength to do daily activities, or to have a stronger presence to just do things in the world, physically exert themselves, and then after physical exertion be able to rejuvenate and rest in a way that the body can rest and recuperate. So this is another important part of Venus, is the physical vitality of a person. But as I was mentioning, Venus is a gentle planet. It's making decisions that are healthy in the sense that we realize we don't have to do everything ourselves. And seeing, okay, I'll spend this much energy doing this, but the rest I'll trade for because it's just easier to do it that way. Making decisions that take the stress off of us, that are gentle and soothing. And it's interesting because I was watching a biography and then assessing the chart of an American playwright named Eugene O'Neill, and he's one of the most famous and well-known of American playwrights. And he was a very mentally and tortured kind of guy. He was very intense character, but he had an extremely prodigious writing ability. And towards the end of his life, he had already become extremely successful. And I think at this point he had already won a Nobel Prize in writing, Pulitzer Prizes, very, very respected. He was living with his wife in California, committed to writing. And so he was in a process of writing a cycle of, I think it was 12 plays. I can't remember the exact amount, but a massive cycle, not just one play, but like 5 or 6. I think it was a bunch, and it was like a 10-year project, but he had it all outlined and mapped out. And he realized he was going to have to spend years and years and years getting these ideas into paper. And it was extremely arduous, but at the same time, he was old and his body was starting to break down. He was starting to get, his hand was he couldn't physically write his hand. It was very painful for him to write. He got into his Venusian period. In Vedic astrology, we have what's called dashas, planetary periods. He entered into his Venus period, and he made a decision that said, look, I can't do all this. This is going to be way too hard. I've got to put this project to the side. I can't do this. This might kill me, this project, this massive undertaking. I got to do something that's easier. And what he ended up doing is he shelved this massive project, and he started writing. He wrote 2 plays, and they're considered his best ever. And they were about his family relationships. Although it was arduous, and although it was a very intense emotional process with his upbringing, but it was a Venusian subject about his family relationships, about how he was exchanging energy with his family members. But more importantly, it was an easier thing to do. He realized that what he was doing was going to stress him. He needed to step back and just do something that it was making a decision that was going to cost him way less than investing tons of time into doing something that was going to break him. And so that's what Venus is doing. It's making wise decisions that are going to benefit us, that are an equal cost. Not trying to get away with something costing less, but making an exchange and seeing what this is worth. Is this worth the physical deterioration it's going to cause, or I'll just do something easier, just choosing to do something in a gentler way. This is the Venus force working in an ideal capacity in us. So this kind of calm, these things that bring us calm satisfaction in soothing ways, this gentle aspect of Venus is really important, because like I said, life isn't meant to just be stress and problem solving. And so Venus is bringing in things that can give us pleasure. And pleasurable things can go in wildly different directions, because not everything that gives us pleasure is going to give us lasting pleasure, lasting satisfaction, or even healthy pleasure, because it's all about balance when it comes to Venus in this respect. Because a person who becomes addicted to pleasure ends up causing themselves, it ends up destroying the person. And that can be easy in our world today, because we're inundated with options. We go to the store, we go outside into the world, and there's plenty of options to receive something pleasurable. Even a cell phone. When you're flipping through a phone, you're receiving hits of pleasure, because you're seeing posts and you're seeing photos that give you sensations. This is receiving pleasurable things from the world. And it can be very easy to take that overboard and become addicted to things that feel good. People can even get addicted to hot water. And hot water is soothing, but it becomes an addiction, because it creates this rush, and it actually affects the serotonin and dopamine levels, because your body prefers warm and hot water for the body to flow easier, for the water and the blood to flow better. But it's another thing that you can become addicted to. And so being able to balance out what we're receiving from the world is very important for the Venusian, for our Venus force within us, because at worst it can become an escape. When people dive into pleasurable things, when they dive into their addictions, what they're doing is they're escaping their practical realities. And this is how things can become, how Venus can be a harmed Venus, or Venus can develop bad habits of trying to go into the pleasure parts of the world and not return in a balanced way to the other parts of life, of work. Taking Venus too far can be really easy, especially and now in our day and age now, because we're just surrounded by things that are meant to entertain us and give us pleasure. So a really key part of Venus is to be able to in a natural way create an equilibrium about what we're receiving from the world and understanding what those costs will be. And so another key part of Venus is beauty and art. And beauty is seeing things that have value and symmetry that exist outside of us. This thing is beautiful because it has a natural symmetry or it has a natural function that can be beneficial to other people, and that can be the fine arts, but just the natural world in general. People can come and say, wow, the world is so beautiful, nature is so beautiful. Why? Because it's symmetry and balance manifested in the most natural form that there is, and it's the creation. When we use Venus to assess the beauty and value of the creations of other people, of artists, we're seeing, oh, this artist and the artwork, the creations of this person has value because it reflects a harmonious understanding of the forms and shapes, colors, and elements that go into a work of art. This artist is bringing a balance and equilibrium that is in harmony with creation. That's how beauty, how we use our Venus to assess things that are beautiful. And things that have high value, we could also say things that are made of valuable materials. For example, luxury goods in general. For example, a sculpture that's made out of marble or a sculpture that's made out of gold is appraised as more valuable because it's made out of a natural element. It's much more valuable than a sculpture made out of plastic, because if I melt that, if I destroy that artwork, I just completely destroy it, there's still material there that still can be used for something else. That gold, melt the gold down. Plastic, you could use it for other material, or you could use it for other things, but things that have more usage. Gold can be used in many different ways. Plastic has a different kind of usage. And so what I'm trying to say is that when we're assessing the value of artwork, we're assessing how it can be valuable on more than just the beautiful level. Does the artwork have function? Does it have a utility outside of just being beautiful? And so we use our Venus force to assess our value in this way, again, of exterior things, and being able to notice the beautiful, high quality, refined things in the world. And so Venus is ruling over food because food is nourishing us, and Venus is a water planet. Water nourishes us. And Venus rules over the taste function, how we taste things. And that extended to the next level is our taste in things in the world, our taste in art, our taste in music, what we see as beautiful or valuable, or what gives nourishing enjoyment. And so Venus, someone with a good Venus will be a stylish person. They tend to be trendsetters, people that will be able to differentiate themselves and bring attention and value to themselves in unique ways. And it's just having this kind of practical understanding of the good things and how we can use the good things to make ourselves more attractive and more valuable, so that we can get more from life. And this isn't a negative thing. This can be a very positive thing, as long as it's done in balanced and healthy ways, and it's not destructive to oneself or destructive to other people. And so Venus also has this, and really quick, Mercury gives the physical abilities of being an artist, the technical abilities and the dexterity of using the hands and the body to make art. But Venus is the planet of appreciation of art and the assessment of what we see as beautiful. And so again, Mercury is a planet of communication. It's the planet of using language in creative ways in order to communicate things. And so Mercury is described as being of speech that is unique, having the ability to say things in unique ways, to use language in very specific ways. And then Venus is the ability to see deeper meaning in what the things that are being said. So it's poetical. Poetic is reading in between the lines and seeing value in things that might not have value upon first glance. Someone with a good Venus is able to read between the lines and see what a person is trying to say, but didn't maybe say it explicitly. So Venus gives this deeper observation of how things in the world are being ordered, how the material reality is being expressed, and being able to see the layers of meaning where other people might not be able to see them. And Venus is all about this worldly wisdom that we develop by understanding how things work in a deeper way than just what Mercury is doing about seeing the availability, seeing possibilities. Venus is taking those possibilities and seeing the ramifications, seeing the costs, seeing the benefits of things. And so we say in the planetary kingdom, Venus is the advisor to the king, or it's the diplomat, because the diplomat goes out dressed well, presentable, of refined speech, of agreeable disposition, and goes out into other places and sees how the kingdom can be in exchange with other kingdoms, what the kingdom has, and see what the other kingdoms have that can be in exchange. So Venus is being able to go into the world and see what we can take in that will benefit us. And also Venus is this practical worldly wisdom that comes from understanding the ways of the world, you could say. And so Venus can be a very political planet. Someone with a good Venus will have an understanding about politics, world events, how things operate on systematic levels, and being able to see the costs and benefits of engaging with these systems at play. And so when we are taking this cost and benefit analysis, we then advise what's the best course of action for the decisions to be made. And so for this reason, Venus is also, it's the worldly astrologer, so the worldly advisor, whereas Jupiter is the spiritual advisor. It's the force that helps us see spiritual lessons to be made through our purpose and through meaning in life, whereas Venus gives practical advice based on wisdom from understanding how the world functions in practical ways, but making wise decisions based on understanding the costs and benefits of whatever course of action that we're deciding to take. And Venus is also said to give the ability of prophecy, being able to see things before they happen because of a wise understanding about how things work in life, how the world works. And so Venus is this predictive astrologer, being able to see the elements and see what are the most likelihoods of certain things to happen. And so when we take our ability to make wise decisions, we're bringing Venus into a deeper and deeper understanding of what value the world has in relation to our own life and how we can trade for the good things in a balanced way. And so I was saying how Venus is a spiritualizing force. How does Venus spiritualize us? Venus is spiritualizing by taking desires and turning desires into devotion. Devotion is our merging with the object that we're devoted to, absorbing ourselves into a certain path in life. And as we absorb ourselves, we become one with our object of devotion. That object could be another person, our significant other, merging ourselves, and so that our paths become one, and we have a singular or mutual path that benefits both of us in one direction. We can merge ourselves and be devoted to our work, and and becoming one with what work we do in our life, we can merge ourselves with even harmful things. People that become addicted to drugs and alcohol, they're merging their experience in the experience of the inebriated state. They're becoming one with the alcohol, and they can't differentiate where the alcohol begins and they end. They're merging, they're devoted to the alcohol. That's a destructive way to devote oneself. But Venus is this force that we commit to a path in life. And the deeper we commit, the more we merge with that path. And so when we merge with something that is of benefit to us, we become more spiritually attuned. And what that means is we're becoming more in harmony with ourselves, with the possibilities in life, with our purpose in life. We're merging ourselves with something that can help us grow spiritually, materially, and spiritually, materially, and physically, and psychologically. And so Venus is our heart chakra, and Venus, when we feel like we're devoted, we feel the love of doing that thing in our heart. And when our heart is committed with loving devotion to something, we then can merge our experience with that. When we devote ourselves to God, when we devote ourselves to creation and serving the creation, we are in a self-fulfilling cycle. We're automatically feeling fulfillment because we're merging ourselves with a path that is greater than us. We're being committed to something that has deep meaning and deeper purpose, that gives us, helps promote a rejuvenating cycle within us. And so this is how Venus can help us develop on a spiritual level, is thinking about our life. What are we devoting myself to? What am I receiving from the world? Am I spending more than I'm giving? Am I giving more than I'm spending? What am I committed to? What paths have I chosen? Are they benefiting me? Are they hurting me? How can I reassess what in my life is giving me value? So this is the core force of Venus. The next planet is Saturn, the 7th planet.